you guys enjoy your whatever that is.
All right. Test.
4, 3.
Howdy out there, and welcome to segment number 3 of Convincing Idiots. I'm Millennial Nick, alongside Gen X Brian and Zennial Dean. And, you've been sticking around for the first 2 segments of Convincing Idiots. Why not stick around for the third? We may not be the main attraction that you came for tonight, but we can bring to the table some good side character values, which is what we're going to be discussing tonight in our main segment. The main characters get all the love all the time. Our favorite actors, our favorite superheroes, favorite scenes of this, that, and the other with main characters. Well, tonight, it's all about the side characters. And we're going to be discussing some of our favorite non-main characters in TV sitcoms. So,
It's the sitcoms?
It is sitcoms. That's what Brian said. That's
I
what he
got to change my podcast answers.
There you go. While Dean's looking and trying to prepare himself for the show on the show, let me tell you something you don't need any preparation for. An electric bike.
Oh.
An electric bike. That's it. That's all you need. You and the will to have the finest piece of machinery on the market, and that would be from our friends at RPM Bike Shop. That's right, they're located in Carrollton, Ohio, not very far from where we record this fantastical podcast. You can give them a call at 330-808-7792, or you can trot your happy little ass over to Facebook and search RPM Bike Shop. You can see the wonderful electric bikes that they have to offer you, or you can go to their website, which is rpmbikeshop.com, and you won't be stuck being a side character on an electric bike from RPM Bike Shop. No, my friend, you will be the main character as you ride through the streets on your super cool electric bike from RPM Bike Shop.
Excellent.
Dean, are you ready for the show? Have you prepared properly?
No, I was making a joke that you two are the side characters. I'm the main character. And I've written you two down because of the podcast.
I see. Well, I kind of took over that segment like a leading man, so I don't know.
First time you've been a man in a long time, so
yeah,
you're welcome.
Accurate.
All right. So who's going to go first, boys?
Not you, Brian. Let's go.
I get to go first ever.
Ever. I want Brian to go first now.
Come on, finish first, Brian.
Get yours, Brian. Get
as usual.
Right here.
Yep.
Right here.
Yep. I'm going to go with my Seinfeld T-shirt, one of my favorite.
Nope, Jerry's the main character. Can't use him.
No. So one of my favorite sitcoms of all time. One of my favorite side characters on any sitcom. How about Newman?
I have Newman as well.
Okay.
Hello, Newman. Wayne Knight was just fantastic in that role. Played a great, arch nemesis of Jerry. Well acted. He played well off of Kramer. He had some fun adventures there. Just great character. Always enjoyed seeing him every time he made an appearance.
Very, very good. Nick, you want to
go? Sure. Yeah. My first submission, as you guys know, I'm a big Friends fan. And while there are 6 main characters in Friends, my favorite side character, he was only in maybe 3 or 4 episodes, it was Eddie from Friends. That was Chandler's temporary roommate while Joey went and got his own apartment after being a big-time soap star on Days of Our Lives. Eddie moved in. And Eddie seemed like a really good fit at first and seemed like a fun guy, and then slowly spiraled into insanity as time went on, and accusing
the goldfish.
Yeah, he accused Chandler of killing his fish, sleeping with his girlfriend, and but then he would go on these. He was like bipolar, I think. He would go into these episodes where he was very manic and jealous and insane. And then he would make up these whole scenarios that him and Chandler went on these adventures together and did these things. And, he would completely forget about things that he was mad at him for. He would creep in his room in the middle of the night and watch him sleep. Just all kinds of crazy, psychotic episodes that Eddie had. And to this day, through 10 seasons of Friends, as many times as I've watched Friends, as much as I love that show and so many things about it, as far as characters that are not one of the 6 of them, Eddie has always been by far my favorite side character. I love those episodes very much. So Eddie from Friends.
See, I think it was even great how they got rid of him. It was so simple.
Yeah.
Not a big fanfare. Joe just showed back up, and they're like, "No, you never lived here." And he was so crazy, he ended up leaving him and just walking away.
Yeah, they beat him at his own game. They just tricked him. They straight up, Chandler would try to tell him to move out, and constantly he would forget and go, "I don't know where this is coming from" or whatever. Right. And eventually, Joey just moved back in, and they changed the locks, and they confused him enough to where they beat him in his own game and just flipped the script, and he went away.
Yeah, that's a good call. That's a good character.
Yeah.
Gen X Brian here from the Convincing Idiots podcast. If you're enjoying our show, tell a friend. And if you're not, well, tell 2 enemies.
All right, so I'm going to go along with Brian Seinfeld. Let's face it, Jerry Seinfeld. It's named after him, so we're calling him the main character. Mm-hmm. And I don't think in sitcom history there's been a better schlubby, sad, pathetic, but also funny George Costanza. To me, it has to be on my Mount Rushmore, played by Jason Alexander. Just the comedic timing on that guy, and not even just Seinfeld, everything else you've ever seen him in. As an actor, he's just fantastic.
Yeah,
I love George Costanza, and he's been famous. He said people come up to him and say, "Oh man, people tell me I'm like George Costanza all the time," and he's like, "That's not a good thing.
That's horrible." That man is deeply flawed.
Yeah, you know, brag about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all right, George Costanza
George is hands down my favorite part of Seinfeld. So from what I've seen so far, I absolutely love George. Yeah.
Ron, yo up, buddy.
Very good. All right. Going back again, retro from the show Cheers. One of my favorite characters. Not the you get the main. To me, the main characters of Cheers are the main people around the bar. Right, so, but Coach, I always enjoyed Coach on Cheers. Coach was the elderly guy who was like the bar manager with Sam in the first few episodes until the actor, I think he literally passed away, right? Huh?
He died, going before the 3rd season.
Okay. But he just played the role so well. He was just kind of a confused older guy. He was just, confused and dumb in a funny way. A lot of great quips. So, yeah, give me Coach from Cheers on my list. Yeah.
Nice.
Nick?
Next up, I'm going to go animated here. South Park revolves around the 4 boys and some of their friends, but certainly...
There's no correct answer to this, Nick. I hope you got it right.
Oh, yeah. Well, my favorite of their friends was absolutely Butters.
Absolutely.
Butters is absolutely... Butters is hands down the best part of every episode he's ever been in.
Did you ever see the Butters episode?
What's that?
Did you ever see the Butters episode?
Well, they did a few. Yeah.
No, where he has his own theme song.
Yeah, everyone knows it's Butters, so that's me. Yeah, right. Yeah. One of my favorite Butters episodes is the anime one where they go and buy from a flea market. They go buy ninja weapons, and they all come up with these alter egos and turn into these anime style versions.
Captain Chaos, was it?
Professor Chaos. Yeah.
Professor Chaos.
And they're having this epic battle and whatever, and one of them throws their ninja stars and it hits Professor Chaos in the face. Then it flashes to real life, and Butters has an actual ninja star in his fucking head. He's bleeding and crying and sobbing, and they dress him up like a dog and shit and try to take him to a vet because they are too embarrassed to take him to a hospital and get in trouble. And that's just one example. Butters is the best version. He's such a kind, sweet, gentle boy, and hanging out with these derelicts all the time.
Yep.
And you can't help but just love Butters and how wholesome he is. And Butters, yeah, absolutely. I don't need to say any more. Butters is definitely on my Mount Rushmore of side or non-main characters.
Very good.
Dean?
Absolutely. All right, my next one, number 2 is okay. This is I might be alone on this. I don't know how many people. Well, I know a lot of people remember the show. I don't know if definitely Nick's not going to. But the character was Antonio Scarpacci. Antonio Scarpacci, played by the great and Emmy Award-winning Tony Shalhoub on the TV show Wings. That silence tells me that you guys.
I used to watch. No, I used to watch
Yeah.
Wings. I was a Wings fan. It came out after Cheers, I believe.
Tony Shalhoub got his start as Antonio on Wings. He was the Italian immigrant who kind of lived nearby, and he was part of that ensemble cast right there. But
Man,
he was definitely the sidekick. And anything that I see Tony Shalhoub in now, from Monk to The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, a part of me still sees Antonio from Wings. I love that character. Love that show. I'd like to go back to it. I'd like to go back. But I didn't assume it's on Peacock. It was an NBC show. I'd like to go back to see if it still holds up.
Yeah.
I'll give it a shot. But yeah. So, yeah, Antonio, played by Tony Shalhoub, Wings.
That's right. I forgot about that character.
Yep. Yeah. It was the start. Or at least on television.
Okay. My next?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Animated for me this time The Simpsons have so many great side characters. One of my favorites always has been Mo the bartender, voiced by the great Hank Azaria. Hank, of course, he made our list last week of favorite voice actors. Just always a funny character, and the scenes of him with Bart pranking him all those years they did that was just priceless. I just always enjoyed that. Always enjoyed Mo. So there you go.
There you
Mo.
go. Love it.
The Simpsons. Yes.
Best bar in town.
Yeah.
Alrighty. My next one, I'm going to pull out Uncle Baby Billy here from the Righteous Gemstones.
Yeah.
Of course. Fucking love me some Uncle Baby Billy. There again, he's not the main character, not one of the main characters, but he steals the episode every time he's in one for me.
Mm-hmm.
He's so blatantly self-serving and just so transparent with what he wants and what he's in things for. I love it. I love the character of the has-been star that's just trying to reclaim some thread of fame that they used to have. It's very funny to me, and absolutely love Uncle Baby Billy. That's it. If you watch The Righteous Gemstones, I feel like a lot of people feel the same way.
Mm-hmm.
So, Brian, you've watched The Righteous Gemstones, right?
First 2 seasons.
Okay.
We're on season. Yeah. We definitely got into it. Yeah.
Okay. Third season, I feel like, is when he really shines, and this shirt makes more sense with what it says. But the third season, it says Baby Billy's Bible Bunkers. That's the an idea he has. Well, I'll just leave it at that, because if you haven't watched the third season, that's a big part of it. So, but yeah, definitely a big fan of the character and that show. So I think the fourth season's. I know they recently filmed it. I don't know if what stage it's at as far.
It just come out like earlier this year, right?
The third, maybe was it this year? If it was this year, it was like real. It was like January. It was like real early on. Yeah, so that could be. So no, fourth season's on the way.
Okay.
So
love it.
Good
character.
Okay.
All right. So I'm gonna go big ensemble cast of MASH, right? Hawkeye, main character, right? So anybody that's not Hawkeye, I mean, you could argue, you have BJ up there, Frank Burns, but Henry Blake to me was one of the greatest side characters because, again, what I think we've determined on some of these side characters is the aloofness of them, kind of maybe the bumbling, and Henry Blake was the epitome of that. How he got to the rank of colonel, Lord knows. I'm sure they explained it, but portrayed by McLean Stevens. Matt, he probably was on the first 3 seasons.
Yeah, first few seasons for sure. Yeah,
and then has the most heartbreaking ending to a character, that scene with Radar in the operating room.
Shocking.
It's just devastating. But up until then, Henry Blake was, to me, one of the funniest, most aloof characters there was. I loved him. So he gets my third nod. Henry Blake in Math.
Very good. Yep. Excellent. Going back to the late 70s, early 80s again here, guys. So used to enjoy the show Taxi. Taxi definitely had a few side characters there. One of my favorites, the great Christopher Lloyd as Reverend Jim. Really what made a name for him. That was like the first big role, I think, that Christopher Lloyd had. So Reverend Jim was just sort of a crazy guy that worked as I don't know if he was a cabbie, or I don't know exactly what was he a cabbie?
He was burnt out from the 60s.
Okay.
He had done so much dope in the 60s, he kind of burned himself out. At least that was always my understanding of the character.
Okay. But he just had this crazy look about him, just hilarious.
It's almost like a Nixon impression sometimes.
Yeah. And he was just, Christopher Lloyd has played the role straight. I don't think he ever cracked a smile. He didn't realize how crazy he was in the show. So if
there were some episodes where he even got heartfelt and kind of out of the mindless and was kind of a little more direct, and it still worked with how he portrayed that character.
Yeah, for sure. So if you're a Christopher Lloyd fan, go back. I'm sure you can find it on YouTube or other area. I don't know if the Taxi's streaming anywhere or not, but just check out clips of him as Reverend Jim and give yourself a smile.
Absolutely.
There you go.
In MeTV on cable.
Is it MeTV?
Yeah.
Okay. There you have it.
Nice.
Nikolai.
I am now entering with my second character from Friends, who was a side character, and I'm going to go with not Chandler's roommate, but Chandler's reoccurring girlfriend, Janice. Janice from Friends. That's right. Janet was an all-time great, and she, was reoccurring through all 10 seasons, really, on and off of Friends. I would have to imagine, as far as side characters go, other than Gunther, I would say Janice is probably throughout Friends most frequently.
Sure.
And she was fantastic. Just neurotic and gaudy and just over the top annoying. And both Eddie and Janice were great characters, and I know this is not about main characters, but I would like to point out the late great Matthew Perry. I feel like he did such a good job of because as he was the straight man in these roles, he did such a great job of elevating those performances. So it's kind of a cool thing to look back, because I'm always like, man, for some reason all my favorite side characters of Friends always revolve around Chandler, and that's because of what a great job Matthew Perry did, who we lost almost a year ago, coming up on a year ago. So, but anyway, Janice was fantastic, and all the ways that Chandler would go out of his way, he would always find his way back to her in moments of despair or desperation, and he would find his way back to Janice at some point for some reason, and then almost
Janice at one point.
Come on, and then you almost immediately regretted it and had to come up with a new way to break up with her. one of my all-time favorite episodes is when Chandler agrees to be set up on a blind date, a couples date with Joey, and Joey's friend, oddly enough, brings Janice as Chandler's date, unbeknownst to either one of them, which they had just broken up. And it's such a great episode.
when Ross hooked up with her, that was fun.
That was a good one too. Yeah. It's like a reunion in the hall. Yeah, it's just Janice is an all-timer. So Janice from Friends on my list.
Love it.
Very good.
All right, number 4 spot is going to Mr. Perry Cox, Dr. Perry Cox, portrayed by John C. McGinley in the TV show Scrubs.
Yeah.
The monologues that guy had to do every week, in one breath, was amazing. You couldn't get away with some of the stuff that you couldn't get away with a character calling another male character a different girl's name every week. Right? You couldn't get away with it today. But back then, back when it was on, it was fucking amazing. John C. McGinley, again. You could point to anything he's done other than Dr. Cox, and he's brilliant in it. For his love for Michael Bolton in Office Space. Platoon. Lieutenant, I don't think we're going to make it out of here. Johnson McGinley is brilliant. I love him. And Perry Cox, to me, is just a masterpiece of a character.
Sure, goddamn right he is.
Yeah, exactly.
I celebrate the guy's entire catalog.
Absolutely. All right. So, Perry Cox, Dr. Perry Cox.
Nice. Good one.
Very good. Well, speaking of catalog, one of my favorite Seinfeld side characters, Mr. J. Peterman. Seinfeld. He was the guy that Elaine worked in his catalog for a while. That guy, that actor, he went on. He hosted game shows or something like that after the fact. I think he
lived a good life off that character.
Yeah, he sure did. I think he still hosts the dog show every Thanksgiving. I hear that guy on there. I think but just very distinct look and voice. And again, another guy that was so good at playing a straight man. Just super serious the whole time, but so ridiculously serious.
He played dumb so seriously.
Yeah.
Like there's some you have that almost for example, my Henry Blake, his goofiness and stupidness, there was a bumbling to it.
Yeah.
Jay Peterman was right straight on serious, but dumb as shit. It's so brilliant.
The stories he would tell about his clothing, how it came to be, and everything was just fantastic. The Apocalypse Now. Yeah, that's right. The Apocalypse Now one where he's, the horror. Yeah, just so good. So good.
As soon as you said the dog show,
Jay Peterman.
I immediately heard his voice going, the Yorkshire Terrier,
the
Labrador Retriever.
That's it. That's
the Newfoundland Labrador. He announces them as they come by.
Yep, that's it. All right.
Do any game show at this point, right? And you grade it. I don't think from fucking Wheel of Fortune to Jeopardy, if you said that guy was doing it, you go, yeah, that makes total sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, for sure.
That's right.
Not many people have that niche of a voice that you could that fits into that category.
Mm-hmm. Game show host.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
Very.
Your fifth, I think.
Yeah, my fifth. So my fifth submission, he could actually. The actor has played two characters that could slide into this role. You guys would probably more relate to him as George's father on Seinfeld. I am picking him because he is Doug Heffernan's father-in-law on King of Queens, Arthur. Jerry Stiller did a fantastic job.
Can we just say Jerry Stiller? Because that's hard to pick which one wins.
Yeah, and literally they're similar characters. If you want to really, in ways they're very similar.
Frank is a little more angry.
Sure, yeah. But Arthur is just so old and confused, and so there again, the way that he played off of Kevin James' character Doug in the show, like, and he's just so annoyed by everything that he does, and he's so aloof, and it's just fantastic. Their interactions were incredible. One of my all-time favorites is it's like the very beginning. It's right off the rip. It's like the opening credits are rolling after the theme music plays, and he comes upstairs and he goes, Douglas. He's like, I've decided it's like I want to get a pizza tonight. And he's like, okay. And he's like, so this little family-owned joint that I saw downtown called Davino's. He just goes, Domino's?
Domino's.
Yeah, Domino's. Little family joint down the corner called Domino's. It's Domino's. There's so many. He's just such a incredible character, and not even so much for his. There were many episodes that he is, very closely tied to the plot in, but you didn't even need that. Like his interactions and his
one or two scenes in the background saying something funny.
His quips, his reactions to things, just physical humor, the way he would, physically, the things he would do, it's fantastic. So, I put him up there. In my head, Arthur from King and Queens came up, but certainly either one would be fine for Jerry Stiller. So,
yourself a favor, go to YouTube and pull up Jerry Stiller Seinfeld bloopers. There's a fucking rabbit hole that you will thank me for.
Yeah.
With every time him and Elaine,
she can't stop laughing. Yeah,
like the one in the they were in the police station when George got arrested. with being a boy.
That's a great one.
And him going, "What? You want a piece of me?" Yeah. And she just could not hold it together after he said that. Again, Jerry Stewart, Seinfeld bloopers. You'll thank me.
Okay. Very good. Excellent. Honorable mentions, quick.
I got my last one. I got my last one.
We have your last ones. Forgive me. Go ahead.
Man, you're all just going to let me walk away without talking about Dan Fielding.
Yeah.
Dan Fielding from the 80s and 90s Night Court, and even to today, playing the same character, John Larroquette, as Dan Fielding, won Emmy after Emmy, and deservedly so. See, he was he played Marmy and finalist, but he did it with a heart. Right, the character ultimately did have heart, which comes in this new iteration of Night Court, where he is older and he's not that slimy guy. He is more of the wise, older, sage type character. But both are Dan Fielding, and he is one of my favorite characters in television, hands down. Dan Fielding from Night Court.
Very good.
Awesome.
Excellent. Now, any honorable mentions? Nick, we're going to flip up to you then. Any honorable mentions?
Yeah, real quick. Just off top, I was on a friend's kick there, but Jack Geller, Ross and Monica's dad, fantastic. He's another reoccurring character through the series. And then also I have
he was in the
Glenn.
movie MASH.
What's that?
He was in the movie MASH.
Oh, was he really?
Yeah, Elliot Gould.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, great character on that, Prince. Yeah.
I also have written down Glenn from Letterkenny. If you've watched Letterkenny, Glenn is one of my favorite characters. He's not one of the main.
List as well.
He's not one of the main four, but goddamn, he is just fantastic. You could pick many characters from that show, but Glenn is my favorite. Yeah. So, yep, that's about it. So, Dean, who you got for honorable mentions?
I'll run down the list. I'll start with Glenn from Letterkenny, like you said. Yes. There's not a scene he doesn't eat up.
Yeah.
I have Frank Reynolds, Danny DeVito, and It's Always Sunny.
Oh, yeah. Great one. Oh, fuck, yeah.
Right. Dwight Schrute from The Office. Nick Miller from New Girl.
That's a good one. Yep. You could go Schmidt, too, even. Yeah, Schmidt's. Or, wait, actually, I don't know. They're all good.
But I think the one that holds me is, like I said, that aloof, dumb character. So that's why Nick got that one for me.
Yeah.
From Peterson and Cheers. Kenneth Parcell in 30 Rock as Kenneth the Page, right? Like I said, and then you have Lloyd Kent from Ted Lasso.
Nice, yeah.
So that's my honorable mentions.
Very good. See, a lot of yours I consider main characters on the show. But that's just my opinion. Yeah,
Like who?
like Dan, I consider to be one of the main characters of
Me,
Night
to me,
Court.
Or
well,
George, even.
I
Like, I
think-
could see George be, yeah.
when I think
Norm.
ensemble, I think there's
Mhm.
one person that it's focused on. And when doing this list, I considered them the main character. Or, yeah, like Jerry Seinfeld was the main character.
Okay.
Harry Anderson was the main character at Night Court. That's how I thought. That's how I kind of approached it.
You get subjective because I thought about putting Kramer on mine, and then I backed off because I'm like, Kramer's kind of he's in every episode.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I feel like if it's there in every episode, like,
The main character is like who you ultimately are focusing on. The only one out of all of these that I would agree would be hard would be the Six of the Friends, because there was no main character in that. But I think all these other shows, to me, like that, even MASH, Hawkeye was the main character. So yeah, again, that's how I approached it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, send in your emails to us and tell us how you think Dean is wrong, ladies and
Bring 'em
gentlemen.
on.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every other way, tell me how I'm wrong, please.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I need to fix my life.
Oh,
Yep.
boy. Oof.
You're gonna need one of those big fucking scrolls.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Brian, you have any honorable mentions?
Yeah, real quick here. I had Creed from The Office. This is the older guy. It's
I was going to say, I would
great.
argue anyone but Scott Stapp is not the main character.
No, but the older guy from The Office is just a very interesting character. When you got a glimpse of his life and all that, just a very weird, fascinating guy. Wilson.
In real life too.
What's that?
That guy, Creed is also, because Creed's his name in real life too.
That's right. Yes.
It used to be part of like the '60s rock band.
Yeah, he did. You're right.
Yeah. That last song in the final episode, he actually wrote for that. It's if you get a hold of his story, it's pretty fascinating.
Interestingly, the name of the rock band is one of the headstones in the Beetlejuice model. Did you know that?
Really?
No, I'm just making that up. I don't know. See, you would even know. Yeah.
I would have played you.
Yep.
You say it convincingly enough, someone will believe it.
That's right.
You had me convinced.
That's right.
It is society that we live in a nutshell, right there.
We are convincing idiots, ladies and
That's
gentlemen.
true.
That's the name of the show. I also have Wilson from Home Improvement. That was the neighbor over the fence.
That's
You
a
never
good one.
really
Yeah.
saw his face and developed a relationship with Tim.
That's a real good one.
Kind of a triple bill, Larry, Daryl, and Daryl from the Newhart show. Hi, I'm Larry, our brother Daryl, my other brother Daryl. That's the two guys that Daryl's never spoke.
Yep.
Larry always spoke, but they had the great, they just played well off each other. The grace of, I had Janice as well. This is from Allie. I added Janice to my list. Also Nick.
Good one.
And one of my favorite side characters of South Park, Towley.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's just simply when you say towel that got high all the time. That's as simple as that. Yep, that's it.
Nick's alter ego.
You want to get high?
Yeah. Give me one thing that makes it. What's one thing, your guy? What makes a good side character? Why? What? In your opinion, why did you pick these characters? What's one quality of a good side character?
Okay.
I would say. Sorry. Go ahead, Dean.
No, go ahead. You're good.
I would say. I would say somebody that complements the main characters well, but also stands on their own. Like all the ones that I picked. The ones that I picked in most cases are when they're a part of the show, they're my favorite part of the show, and that's kind of what they're not a main character. They're not always there, but when they are there. That's something you look forward to. It kind of makes the episode, but they always play well off of the main characters of the show.
Dean?
Exactly what Nick said. I have an analogy also, probably because I'm watching football right behind you guys now. But look at it as a sporting team, as a football team, right? The quarterback being the main character, he ain't doing it alone. Occasionally he could run it in for the touchdown, but for the most part, he's got to pass it. Like he's got to pass it, and just like in a scene, these main characters can do their thing, but they got to pass it to like. Ultimately, a lot of these people are going to be funnier than the main character.
Yeah.
They're gonna have the different perspective, the funnier perspective, because there's something wacky about them, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're character actors, and I think that's what it is. You need the not only do you support the main character, but the main character's got to be able to pass you the ball in that scene. So
Yeah, very good analogies. They're able to drive like the sub story. They're rarely part of the main story of the episode, but they're often a key part of whatever the secondary storyline is of that episode, and they're able to drive it. And like Nick said, you simply look forward to seeing them. You don't see them all the time, and when they do have the opportunity to have more of a featured role, that just makes that episode that much more exciting because they play that character so well. But they couldn't necessarily stand on their own. I guess that's part of it as well. The character is interesting enough to where if you try to make a Newman series, probably wouldn't have done so well. But playing off Seinfeld and the other characters
McLean
just
Stevens
works so well. For
left
example,
because he thought he could go to a show and be the main character, and it didn't last.
Yeah,
it's not like it hasn't been attempted with characters. It just doesn't work the same.
That's right. Okay, gentlemen,
there it is.
There it is. We've done it.
We do good. I mean,
We
I
do
like
good.
it.
We
Yes.
did do good, but you know who would do really good is you, the listener. If you go and were to find us on all of your favorite social media platforms, and that could be done as simply as just going to Google and typing in Convincing Idiots Linktree, LINKTREE, or you can go to our website, which is convincingidiots.wordpress.com. So be the main character in this story yourself, listener. Be the hero that we all need and we deserve. And go like and subscribe, rate, review. And most of all, come back and join us for another episode of Convincing Idiots. But for episode 208, we have been your side characters. I'm Millennial Nick.
Daniel Dean.
Gen X Brian.
Have we convinced you to come back and join us for another featuring spot in the soundtrack of your life next time on Convincing Idiots?
Daniel Dean. Gen X Brian. Millennial Nick. If you like what you saw, like and subscribe.
Ham grape.
Episode 208.
Mhm.
Yes.
You are right. Yep. Okay.
Wow. It's a weird feeling. It's oddly,
Yeah, you
don't
it's
get
oddly
in
unsettling.
your life.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I feel weird when I agree with you because I know I'm probably going to be wrong. So I get a little weary and shaky.
Don't
here.
follow me down this path. Nothing good. Nothing good comes here.